Welcome back to Mortgage 101, your guide to home ownership with Clinton Wilkins and myself, Todd Veinotte, here on City News 95.7. And I will say and we kind of talked about this in the opening segment, but you and I have developed a great rapport, and you're a big part of City News 95.7, and that's awesome.
It's almost like we're all family. I think you guys had a little bit of a holiday celebration I got invited to, and I couldn't come.
You declined because you were too busy.
I had another event. You know, you can't do it all, people. You can't do it all.
That's right.
I really wanted to go though.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
nice.
Maybe next year, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking maybe we'll come in the studio one day. It could be in like January. Like, let's come and spread some cheer. You know, maybe when people aren't feeling that cheery.
Exactly.
Like, why not?
Well, you know when people probably aren't going to be feeling that cheery is when they get their assessments.
I can tell you there certainly aren't.
Yeah.
If you even open up Twitter, there's a realtor who we've had on the show, James Dwyer.
James Dwyer, yeah.
He actually tweeted something the other day, yesterday actually, about the assessments. And
you know, the funny thing is James Dwyer, had him on the show on Monday, and I've had him on my talk show a number of times, and of course a connection through you. And I watched CTV News the other day, and there's James Dwyer. I'm making this guy a freaking star.
Well, you know what? I think there's lots of airtime. We can share, right, Todd?
We can share, but I felt like I was being cheated on, to be honest with you.
Okay, so every time that I'm on another station,
I feel like I'm
TV,
being cheated on.
Okay, I'll try. I won't answer my phone anymore, but you guys can still call. It's all right.
All right, so let's talk about the assessments, because this, and again, we talked about it last year at this time, right?
We talked about it January 2022, which seems like yesterday to me.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I was in Halifax, and there was kind of like the story was starting to break about the assessments coming out and all these things. It was the end of January.
Yeah.
And I got on the horn with you, and we did our show. You know, like an interview about what was going on with the assessments, and they were going up like 10-14% or so last year. And I commented and said the assessments are still really lagging, like 2 years behind.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Yeah.
Another year has gone by.
Yeah.
And the assessments, I think, are closer to the market value. So the assessments that are really coming out now, or 2023, are probably more representative of where the value was in 2020 or maybe 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So some people are seeing as much as like 100% increases in their
So
assessment.
how can that be 100%? Like, because I see 20%.
Obviously the assessment was way below the market value.
No, but I see 20%. That's the average is 20%.
The average is 20%.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
Okay, so
some people probably have a 0%
0%,
increase
some
or a
people
decrease.
100%. I see. So that is, wow. So 100% increase.
I'm going to give you an example.
Yeah.
The average house price in Halifax last year, somewhere around $500,000.
Yeah.
I can tell you the assessments were not $500,000, Todd. The assessments were $200,000, $300,000, maybe $400,000. And just like we didn't think the rates were going to go up, people never thought the assessments were going to go up.
Yeah.
They were really living this dream of having very, very low property taxes. The assessment on my place is almost as much as the property value.
Wow. Yeah.
But it was a new construction. Will it go up as much as like to 20%? I don't think it's going to. Where is it?
You're in the peninsula.
I'm downtown, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't think I'm going to see as much increase in my assessment personally.
Right.
I might even get like another year of reprieve or maybe 2 more years before I start seeing some increases. But I can tell you, I know people that have had 100% increases in their assessments. But guess what? That assessed value is still below the market value, even at 100% increase.
Yeah.
So the challenge is the municipality, the province. We'll even go to Property Valuation Services Corporation.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's
for those who don't know. By the way, this company is an independent company. They're not attached to any municipality or the provincial government, right?
They're just the entity that does the assessment for Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
They
not a popular company, I would
maybe
think.
not popular today, maybe not popular last January, maybe not popular when the assessments come out at all, Todd. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But it is what it is. There are some mechanisms if people are going to challenge their assessment. So you can actually go to Property Valuation Services.
Yep.
You can get an appraisal done on your property if you think the assessment is beyond what the market value is.
Do you have to give them reasons why you believe that?
You have to challenge it.
You have to challenge it, and you have to say, look, these are the
whys.
Bullet points as to why I don't think this is fair.
I actually did it myself once.
Yeah.
I owned a cottage on the Eastern Shore. The assessment was quite high. The assessment was above what I paid for it.
Right.
Can you imagine paying less than the assessed value?
That's probably
happen.
my case
It
in
might
my
be,
house.
but not now.
No, but
Maybe
I'm
at the time it could have
At
been.
the time, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. So if you do work to your house and all that, do they actually physically go look, or do they do it?
I think in some cases they do come and look,
They do, yeah.
but they're not coming and looking in your house necessarily.
No.
They are probably
Can
driving
they though,
by.
if they want to?
I think they probably have mechanisms that they can, depending
Yeah.
on what the situation is.
Right.
I think what really triggers a big change, obviously, in the assessed value is the market value.
Yeah.
So the market has a big impact. Buying, like if you bought a new home,
Yeah.
that'll trigger. If you pull in a building permit, I think that could maybe impact it.
Yeah.
Because like there is some information sharing here
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
But
So who pays them? All the municipalities? Is that how this works? Or how do they get paid?
yeah, the municipalities need the data.
Yeah. So they would fund this this company.
And I think it's, via the provincial government. And this corporation does all the assessments in the province.
Yeah.
And they're going to send them out. And some people are starting to get them in the mail. I don't think, Todd, have you guys?
I have not.
No, I've not received mine yet.
No.
Some are already loaded on Property Online. I've seen some 2023 assessments already loaded. So they may all be loaded, but you haven't received your actual assessment notice yet. Then what will happen is once this assessment is in place, when your tax bill comes out from your annual tax bill from your municipality,
Which should be in the spring.
that will then be the taxes. So the spring is the back half, right?
Well, they don't set the property tax rate until the spring here in Halifax.
Right. And then the final bill is where
Based on that.
Exactly.
Those two combinations.
Exactly.
And that's and I think that people need to understand that there are two components to that.
The
It's not
assessment
just the
and the
assessment
tax
and the
rate.
tax rate.
And last year, and part of the reason that we had our interview January 2022 was because the tax rate was increasing.
Yeah.
And the assessment was increasing. So people were kind of hit in both ways. This year, the assessments are going up even more than they did last year on average.
Yeah.
And, consumers are certainly feeling the pinch.
Yeah.
A lot of consumers have a mortgage.
Yeah.
And a lot of consumers are having their mortgage come up for renewal this year. We did a lot of mortgages in 2018. I can tell you that right now. And the average mortgage length is typically a 5-year term.
Are you getting a lot of calls right now from people concerned about this?
I am.
Yeah. What do you tell them?
I tell them that, this is a piece of the pie. Everything's really gone up in cost.
Yeah.
I would say food has gone up more than 20%.
Oh, well, yeah.
Fuel
Some
has
of
gone
it.
up more
Yeah.
than 20%.
Yeah.
Obviously, the costs these municipalities are operating, like their costs have gone up.
Yeah.
One of the biggest revenue generators for these municipalities is the property tax.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Obviously, there are some transfer credits from the provincial government, et cetera, but the property taxes are one of their biggest revenue sources.
Yeah.
So they need more revenue to operate. And they are benefiting from having higher property values, and the assessments are still lagging the property values.
So you're
Will
saying,
they be
you're
in a
saying-
couple years?
So you're suggesting, or you're saying that despite this increase, we're going to see more of this to come because
I would say.
you would say. Yeah.
I would say we're likely going to see maybe some smaller increases.
Yeah.
It really depends on what's going to happen with property values over the next couple of years. Just a quick touch on property tax accounts, because obviously we deal with mortgage lending every day. If someone has a conventional mortgage, typically their mortgage lender is going to allow them to pay their property taxes directly to the municipality.
Right.
So important right now, because while the assessments are increasing and the tax rates have increased in some municipalities, oftentimes borrowers are in a shortfall position in their tax account.
Yeah.
But if you start paying the taxes directly to the municipality, and a lot of municipalities will offer like a pre-authorized debit,
Yeah.
then you're going to be paying on more accurate data and you're not in this shortfall position. For those borrowers who have a high ratio mortgage, typically their lender has to collect the property taxes on their behalf. We're seeing many borrowers that are in a shortfall position with their property tax account. So what happens is you have to pay more to make up the shortfall and start paying enough to make the future bill, which certainly can be prohibitive, and you can see a big increase in your mortgage payment.
All right, so based on all of that, we got lots to talk about. We can talk about refinance. We're going to talk about how people can deal with this is what we're going to get to.
We're going to talk about some solutions. Obviously, we're going to talk about rates, and we'll be back.
Okay, Mortgage 101, your guide to home ownership with Clinton Wilkins and myself, Todd Veinotte. We will be right back.
If you've liked what you've heard and you want to learn more, feel free to visit us online at teamclinton.ca.